Oh, yeah. Going back to the old days, we're going to talk a little DFS, and then we're going to talk some bets. And look who it is, Kegger. It's Keg, it's Kush, Nuke the House, nukethehouse.com. And Hoop is back. This is why you don't burn bridges, Keg, because you say, hey, Hoop, let's do. Actually, Hoop goes, let's do something. And I said, all right, let's do it, buddy. It's good to see you, Hoop. It's been a long time. How are things going at ShipIt?
Man, one of my favorite people to do shows with. And do you go by Kush now, or you just kind of like threw that out there?
I can't talk about sex.
Okay.
I got to talk about Kush. It's being one of the bosses is not as fun as it used to be.
Yeah,
you know how it is if you don't reel him in, dude. Forget.
Yeah. You got to set the parameters for Mr. Holden. If not, he'll toe that. Not only toe the line, but he'll cross that line. You got to reel him in a little bit. So, yeah. But no, excited to be back doing shows with you. I mean, we had a nice run in the past, and always got along very well and enjoyed doing shows with you. And now we get the opportunity to do what we both love, talk some DFS and sports betting at the same time. And very excited for you guys to get this thing going. I mean, we had talked over the summer, and I know you guys worked very, very hard to get the new site up and launched. And I'm very excited to see what you guys do here moving forward.
All right, Ditka signed up with you guys, so that's good.
Nice.
So we got a few people coming over to ShipIt, and we get some ShipIt people coming over to us, and it's going to be a great time. So let me tell you what we're doing. The format: Hoop's going to take care of the DFS. Keg's going to take care of the betting. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably just talk a lot. We're going to talk about 6 games and just 6 games: Texans, Colts, Jags, Dolphins, Titans, Bears, and then Cards, Bills, Commanders, Bucks, and Cowboys, Browns. So let's get into this. No more messing around. We'll talk about the DK side, and all of our lines will be from DK as well. Hoopage, Texans at the Colts. And I think it's interesting reading a lot about what's going on with this team, where they view Nico Collins as the one. They view Stephon Diggs as the one guy that'll go over the middle. And then they view Tank Dell as their number 3. How do we want to handle these two offenses? Because there are some explosive players on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, so this game has a lot of young players up and coming. It has a lot of new faces on these teams. And in terms of DFS for week 1, I think it's pretty appealing. I mean, it has a total like 48.5, 49, should be relatively close in terms of the spread. I think it's a 3-point spread. They get to play in the dome, which this time of year is not super important, but you'd probably rather play in a dome opposed to outside either way. And I think it has the potential for some fireworks. You get 2 second-year quarterbacks. I guess, well, Richardson was kind of out most of last season, but high hopes for him. The price on DraftKings is cheap at $6,300. And then Stroud had probably the most impressive season last year out of all the young guys, and now added some pieces with Stephon Diggs. So I want to be on both sides of this game fantasy-wise. Like, I want exposure to both the passing attacks. When it comes to the running games, not as interested, like paying a premium for Jonathan Taylor week 1. Like, I don't love that. Joe Mixon added to the Texans side of things. They still have, like, Dameon Pierce. Not super excited about the running part of this game, but the pass catchers I'm very interested in. Both quarterbacks I'm very interested in. Texans have 3 legitimate guys. I mean, we saw – if Tank Dell is their number 3, like, look what that dude did last year. He looked phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal. Insane. Yeah. And, that was before the injury, but man, Stroud has 3 legitimate options: Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. I'll have exposure. I'll be building 150 teams. I'll have exposure to all 3 of those guys. I don't mind double stacking it with, 2 of those pass catchers. Love the Texans side. Colts side, Pittman Jr., phenomenal play. Richardson, obviously a little bit more of a runner, so there is some risk in really loading up. So if I'm playing Richardson, I probably only want one guy. I don't really want to double stack it. Pittman's the obvious choice. But you can take a look at this Adonai Mitchell guy, 3,800, super cheap. He should get a little bit of ownership, but we have a full slate of games, so you don't really have to be super worried about any of these cheap guys getting popular. Alec Pierce, you could maybe throw in the mix a little bit, but for me, it's really going to be a focus on Pittman and Mitchell for the Colts. The tight end situation with the Colts, I don't know. I'm going to probably just fade out. There's so many dudes that could potentially get reps at tight end for the Colts. I can't figure it out. Dalton Schultz would be the one tight end in this game I have interest in. But I think this is definitely one of the more, I'd say, premier games of the slate. The team total for the Texans sitting right around 25.5, 26. Team total for the Colts sitting right around 23. I think we see some points here, and we have a lot of different ways to attack it.
All right, Keg, let's get into the betting side of this thing. Texans, Colts. We got the Texans on the road as the 3-point favorite, and we've got a 48.5 total, slightly juiced the over at -12. Texans -148 money line, Colts +124. You and I discussed this game yesterday and sharing some more thoughts about it. High-powered Texans offense. Joe Mixon is there now. Let's start with Richardson, though. Richardson was scoring a touchdown. You bet him every single week before he got hurt to score a touchdown. He's got legs. Who knows if this guy will be accurate? But what do you think of Richardson? What do you think about this game?
Yeah, like I said at the start of last year, if they're going to price Richardson at +185, I'll bet his anytime touchdown every single week. We bet it 3 weeks. I think we cashed every week, and then he gets hurt, right? But now he comes back and he's as low as -110 in the market for an anytime touchdown. Mind you, he's never been on the field with Jonathan Taylor. So, like, obviously he's going to take a ton of red zone usage away from Richardson. So, like, I just can't get there now with his anytime touchdown. Maybe as the number goes up in game, I can get there. Right now, I can't. So yesterday we weren't done when we did the show. I wasn't done with the PR model. And I thought that the Colts +3 was probably the side, although I'm like very, very high on the Houston Texans, obviously. But my PR came back and like I've got basically the Texans -0.5 point on the road. So I really do think that the Colts are the side here, especially with the way that the Texans struggled on the road last year at times. It's good to know from Hoop that Dalton Schultz is still in play from a DFS perspective, even though they have those 3 studs at wideout. I think the way that you target player props, at least in the beginning of the year, all signs point to Nico Collins being the one from everything you hear. Plus, I know he's probably more comfortable with Nico than anybody else, although you can make the case for Tank Dell. I think you target Stroud, not the wideouts, because you're going to have your weeks where you get screwed because one guy goes for $180 and one guy goes for like 40. Like we saw it last year a lot. So I'm thinking like Stroud alternative passing numbers over are going to be a play a lot this year. As far as the side, I have to lean the Colts, even though I'm on the Texans to win the division. So I'm going to say Colts +3 and probably going to be on Stroud's passing yards.
Ooh, I'm looking forward. We got a whole bunch of live shows coming up here on Nuke the House. Of course, tonight, 8:15 Eastern, Keg and I, we're going to be live for Thursday Night Football with the Chiefs and the Ravens. Keg will be with the boys on a premium show tomorrow night for that Packers game in Brazil against the Eagles. Then 1 to 7 Eastern time, premium show, Keg and the boys again, Sunday Night Football. We will be live right before kickoff. All right, Nuke the House and ShipIt. We're in a partnership. So if you want to check out ShipIt Nation, NTH 15 on a monthly plan, go to shipitnation.com. You will you'll see the monthly plan. In the monthly plan, type in the code NTH 15, and then you get a free week and 15% off the first payment. So that's what we got going on right now. Let's move on to game number 2. This should be a sexy one for DFS. Hoop, Jaguars and the Dolphins, and I believe it's the highest total on the main slate here, 49, juiced at -10 both sides. Jags +3.5 on the road at Miami, +142 on the money line. The Dolphins money line almost unbettable at minus 170. Tyreek's always in play, right? Waddle's got to be in play. Tua's got to be in play, right? I mean, the prices are there, but what about the Jacksonville side first?
Yeah, so the Jacksonville side is definitely interesting. The reason I think Jacksonville is more in play fantasy-wise is what we saw out of the Dolphins last season. Well, they'll just keep going. They'll continue to try to score points. It doesn't matter if they're up 2-3 touchdowns, what they put up, like, was it 70 or something that one week?
Yeah, against Denver, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're just going to keep going, which makes it great for fantasy because that's what you want. You don't want a team to get a lead and sit on it by trying to run out the clock. Like, they'll keep it going. Which brings Jacksonville into the conversation. It's kind of when Trevor Lawrence had said disappointing season overall last year, but he thrives in these coming or playing from behind type situations for fantasy purposes, and he's only 6,200 on DraftKings, and does provide some running upside too. So he has the big game potential that we're looking for. So he's clearly in play. If you're going to play him, who do you pair him with? Well, it's Christian Kirk at 5,500, a very good price tag for him. So you're getting a stack for relatively cheap. I mean, the Trevor Lawrence Christian Kirk stack is not going to break the bank. 62 for Lawrence and then 55 for Kirk. This Brian Thomas Jr. guy getting a lot of high praise, 4,700. You can put him in the conversation, and then Gabe Davis at 45. We know what Gabe Davis is. Had some really big games with the Colts, or not with the Colts, with the Bills. You could definitely do it here in Jacksonville as well. So you have 3 options there in terms of pass catchers, and then Evan Ingram, 5,500, fine play too. So the nice thing when I'm looking for guys to play at the quarterback position, especially if you're building multiple teams, I want to have a lot of different options in terms of who I can stack him with. And that's what you're getting with Trevor Lawrence. So there's a lot here to like. Potentially playing from behind versus a team that will continue to try to score. And then you have 4 potential options in the pass game. And you could even throw ETN in there too. Like, there is some correlation between Trevor Lawrence and ETN. Like, he will catch passes. So a lot of different ways to go on the Jacksonville side. And the nice thing is it's pretty clear the route you want to go. You have the wide receivers, you have a solid tight end, and then you have a running back who broke the slate a couple times last year. On the Miami side, Tua at 7K, a little more expensive. I don't think he gets much ownership, which to me is a spot I want to kind of expose. I mean, I'm looking and seeing like less than 5% on Tua, quarterbacking a team that's projected to score, I think, the most on the slate, or if not the most right there. They're projected to score like 26.5 points. So that's a spot I'm definitely interested in. Again, it's similar to the Trevor Lawrence conversation where who you want to stack him with. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and then you really don't have to worry about anything else. Like, you don't really have to play any tight end. I know they have Jonnu Smith now. They'll still work in Smythe, but it's just a very clean stack situation. It's Tua with Waddle, Tyreek, and then in large field stuff, you could even do it together. It does get expensive if you do it together, and they're going to have to score a shit ton, but they can definitely do it. So it's a very clean situation. Where it gets a little murkier with the Dolphins side of things, it's at the running back position, because we saw last year they got A-Chain, they have Mostert. Both guys had massive games throughout the season. It was hard to pinpoint who it was going to be, but it does look like coming into this year it's going to be more A-Chain. But man, when we thought that last year, it was Mostert. So probably a situation I'll kind of avoid as much as possible, but the passing attack on both sides is where I want to be in this game. And pretty clear what you want to do and the guys that you want to target.
Hoop, are you surprised that this total stayed relatively around open?
Yeah, you would have, just seeing these teams on paper, I would have thought, lower 50s maybe, but there's some resistance, it seems, to get these things up there into the 50s nowadays. So I'm kind of surprised, especially with what we saw the Dolphins do last year. I mean, they'll run it up.
It's early in the season too. Anybody got the totals will climb once everybody starts seeing people going off in a couple of weeks. But you got any questions or comments, DFS side or betting side? Throw them in the chat here, and we'll try and get to your questions. Hoop, we got Keg. Holy Kushner. I don't even want to call myself Kush anymore because Hoop called me out on that. Hey,
Well,
the
I just
only
want
other
to
guy
know. I just want to know if
Johnny
that's the
Smith.
new name you go by. I just always,
It's an old name that I got rid of, and now it's back. So
I always knew
don't
you as
know.
Holden. I mean, you're in a new spot here, so I thought maybe you got a new name. I just wanted to make sure.
I got
I'm
a new
I'm
name.
still Keg. I'm still
Yeah,
Keg.
but look at his mustache, Hoop. What the hell is that
I
guy
I do
all
doing?
like the
right.
It's
mustache.
actually
Man.
starting to look good. I'm starting to
Yes.
like it a little bit more. Hey,
The-
Jonnu
Solid
Smith. Jonnu Smith's my other guy I want to talk about. Just reading a whole bunch from the Dolphin beat writers. A guy that's going to be moved around a ton. So keep an eye on Jonnu Smith as well. Hey, Keg, quick breakdown here. Miami and Jacksonville.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what Hoop was talking about, not a good sign for the Dolphins that Jalen Ramsey did not show up to the first real practice of the year this week. That could be an issue for a team that's already banged up in the front seven and the secondary. We talked about this yesterday, which just drives his point home even further. 2 new defensive coordinators in this game, 2 new schemes. That's important. Like, throughout the course of the year, I think they will be better for the team. But right now, I think it's going to be a big ask for Jacksonville in week 1 with a new scheme to deal with just a juggernaut offense. Like, I mean, call spade a spade. This offense is really, really good. So I think that the Dolphins are going to be able to get whatever they want in this game. And on the flip side, they're really banged up on defense, man. Like I still think that the Jags and Lawrence are going to get theirs. It takes about 3 weeks for my power ratings to really get locked in historically, and I've got this game right now at 3. So I guess at 3.5, I would probably stay off. I mean, we know that plus 3.5 covers in this league 55% of the time, no matter who you back. So I would probably stay away from the side, but I do have interest in the over, man. Like I just don't know. I really think that the Dolphins are going to hang 35 probably against this defense. So I mean, yeah, lean over. I'm going to stay away from the side. No real opinion on props right now.
All right, we'll move on. Like button would be great. Make sure you subscribe to the Nuke the House YouTube channel. Put on your notifications as well. We got Hoop from ShipIt Nation talking DFS with us. And then obviously Keg, I'm Holden. Let's continue on here and we'll keep rolling. Any questions, comments, throw them in the chat. We'll try and answer them for you. Our next game is going to be a very interesting one with the Titans at the Bears. Keg, I'm going to start with you because we discussed this yesterday. I like the Titans at 4.5. And this thing's come down to 3.5 now. So I wonder if you could back the Titans at 3.5. 44.5 is the total. Titans plus 154 on the road. This is more just a play at 4.5 with a Bears team that's starting a rookie quarterback. For me, is 3.5 okay, or is that a stay away?
3.5, I think, is a stay away. The Titans and the Panthers are the 2, I would say, most popular teams that like professional bettors are backing right now. There's been a lot of syndicate movement for the Titans and the Panthers this week. And the reason why everybody's backing the Titans in this game is because the majority of sharps out there think that the lines on the Chicago Bears are skewing everything. The futures market week to week, they just don't think that the Bears are going to be as good as everyone thinks they are this year, despite how good the team is and how good most people think that Caleb Williams is going to be. So I don't think that you can take it at I think really 4.5 was probably the spot to get on the Titans. And if you didn't get on the Titans, you probably missed the boat. I mean, should the number continue to fall, like we said yesterday, rookie quarterbacks in their first start are 4-22 straight up, 7-20 against the spread. This is one of the better teams we've seen in the last 2 decades in terms of what a rookie quarterback is dealing with. But yeah, I would say the Titans were the side. Now the game is a pass. From a totals perspective, probably lean under, but you miss the number.
Okay. Hoop. Any Caleb Williams? Any Bears? What are we doing with the Titans? It's just a stay away game.
Yeah, it's not a exciting DFS game. The first two, I think, very exciting. We talked about Houston, Indy, Jacksonville, Miami. This one, not great. Playing in Chicago, I know it's earlier in the year, but later in the year it gets more difficult in terms of playing there and what you can expect in terms of scoring points and whatnot. But still, man, it's like I just don't love this spot for either side. Caleb Williams is going to get some hype DFS wise just because of how good everyone projects him to be. I'm leaning towards maybe just fading him because I just don't love pairing him with anyone. If you were going to pair him with someone, it's probably DJ Moore at 6,500. Keenan Allen, officially questionable. I'm assuming he plays, but maybe it's DJ Moore, maybe it's Cole Kmet or Gerald Everett. I mean, another team that has multiple tight ends makes it tough for fantasy purposes when you are looking to pair your quarterback with someone. I guess you could potentially throw DeAndre Swift in the mix at 6K. Maybe Chicago gets a lead and they don't want Caleb Williams to do a ton with the lead, so they kind of rely on DeAndre Swift. But these are all, maybes, not necessarily like this is what I want to do this week. And then on the Tennessee side, lower team total. They do have the names. I mean, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, but he does have a questionable tag. I'm assuming, is he going to play or not? Yeah.
I would say he's going to play, but he is on the injury report.
Yeah, limited participant as of today. Just not a very exciting spot. I mean, this is potentially a game that I end up fading. Just not much I like here.
Yeah, Hopkins' knee is bothering him, but again, he was out there practicing, so not too worried about D-Hop. He has played with a lot of injuries throughout his career. Hey, Hoop, tell us a little bit about ShipIt Nation for everybody that wants to get in on DFS. NTH15. Go get a monthly plan. You sign up, you get 1 week for free on a monthly plan, and then you get 15% off your first payment. NTH15. What are they getting over there, Hoop?
Yeah, so you plug in that code. Obviously, you can get into our Discord as well, which is a huge asset. A community of like-minded people grinding DFS, multiple sports. But NFL is a big talking point, and we just wrapped up a showdown show over on our YouTube channel where we have projections, we have ownership, we have a product called the Stone where it kind of just brings everything together: projections, ownership, some other statistics, leverage stuff that very helpful. We'll have a core report where we kind of have some of our core plays that we're going to be building teams around. My personal player pool, so all the guys that I'm playing, and my ownerships, and then a slate plan that Tambo kind of does, and that is for Showdown slate. We have all that for the main slate as well. Adding in cash report where our guy Titletown covers all the cash game cores that you'll be, you should be starting your lineups with. Value report. We have stack rankings, DVP rankings. We have our own optimizer called the Shiptimizer, which comes with our NFL package. So come on over, try it out for the first week. It's free. Think you'll love it, and you'll want to hang around. The code is NTH15 for all for the Nuke the House community.
I did that MMA DFS and bet show at RPS with Title for 2 years, man.
Sharp kid.
That kid is as good as it gets when it comes to MMA DFS.
Yeah, nails it. I mean, he absolutely nails the content. I've actually, the last 3 weeks on DraftKings, has shipped the 555 contest, first place, and just solely using their information. Like these guys, him and Big Marley do a phenomenal job breaking it down every week. I mean, I don't know shit about MMA. I know the main dudes. I don't know all the random guys, and been able to ship 3 weeks in a row just following their stuff. They do a hell of a job.
Yep.
All right, next we'll plug our site, but I want to go to another game because we're flying here. Cardinals at Bills, and I must say, just from a DFS side, I really like James Cook here. They increase his workload. The Cardinals are still going to struggle a lot against the run, that at least on the DFS side. And could this be a blowout, Keg? I'll go to you. It's Cardinals getting 6.5 on the road. 47 is the total. I think it's going to be some players in the DFS side, but 6.5 is a lot. Are the Bills 6.5 points better than the Cards, Keg?
We've got them 5.5 points better this week, right? So I think that if the Cardinals score early in this game and first, I will probably hop on the Bills live on the show at that point, I'm almost certain that Hoop is going to agree with me here. But like we talked about yesterday, man, this defense grades out to be the worst defense in football by a pretty considerable margin, the Arizona Cardinals. Okay. And their offensive line is also not that good, but their identity is they're going to try to be physical this year, and they're going to try to run the football a lot. And the problem is that they're not going to be able to, because they're probably going to be down. I know I say that knowing that they got Harrison, knowing that that'll give a bump to the passing game, but I still think that foundationally it's all built around James Conner, and the way that they're going to want to play football, they're not going to be able to do, because they're going to be behind in games. So I think that a great way to target the Arizona Cardinals this year is hit them the live player prop market in the second half of games, when they're trying to get through the back door, when they're trying to play catch up. And I think that they're going to put up some crazy DFS numbers this year in the second half of games, because I just think that they're a bad football team that's going to be chasing from behind a lot. So I can't back the Bills because we have the line at 5.5, but I will be trying to get on them if Arizona scores early. And I will be looking to back the Cardinals if the Bills are up pretty big in the second half in terms of player props.
All right, Hoop. Arizona, Buffalo, 47 total. James Cook. We got Josh Allen. We got Kyler back. He's got some weapons now. Talk to me here. Is this a decent DFS game, and who's in play?
Yeah, on the fantasy side of things, Josh Allen's always in play in the conversation. I mean, he can break the slate without even passing the ball. He can do it on the ground, and then anything from the passing side is just like a bonus. So I think he is clearly always in play. The problem is losing Stephon Diggs. Like, if you are going to pair him with somebody, it gets tight rather quickly. I mean, Shakir, Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, like, you don't really want to play these guys. So if playing Allen, I'll be looking to play like one pass catcher, and the tight end's probably my favorite, Dalton Kincaid. And I actually really like him this week. He's priced. A lot of people like to go cheap at tight end. He's up there at 5.8K. They had great chemistry last season. I really like Josh Allen to Dalton Kincaid stacks this week. And, if playing Allen, I'm fine mixing in some of those other pass catchers. But, man, it's not a comfortable feeling at all. On the Arizona side, I agree. They're likely playing from behind in this game and a majority of the season. And I also agree that they're not really built to be playing from behind. Like, Kyler wants to run the ball. He's not a very accurate passer. I think he's actually a terrible quarterback when it comes to, like, winning football games.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not good. He can do fine fantasy-wise just by, running the ball, running in touchdowns, but he sucks. He's a shitty NFL quarterback, and they're going to be playing from behind a lot, so he's going to have to air it out. He's going to have big fantasy games along the way. In terms of this week, low-owned, again, he's coming in under 5%. He's only $6,400. I don't hate pairing him with – there's one guy that essentially you want to pair him with, and that's Marvin Harrison Jr. James Conner, they want to run the ball with him, but I agree. Like, they're not going to be up in games. They're not going to have the ability to do that. So my favorite part of this game by far, Josh Allen to Dalton Kincaid. I think it's a great stack. It's a stack I'll have a lot of. On the Arizona side, I haven't built teams yet. I might have some Kyler to Harrison Jr., but I don't know. Like, I don't necessarily love it. Harrison Jr. has a big price tag. I mean, he's $7,200 on DraftKings. Like, you got to do something substantial at $7,200. And with Kyler throwing him the football in Buffalo, which is another difficult spot to play in, I just don't know if they can get the job done. But Allen to Kincaid is, I think, very solid stack this week.
All right, very good. Trey McBride is a monster. Matt, no question about that. Hey, yeah. Keg, plug the site real quick, and then we just got two more games to get to.
Yep. You guys could use the promo code Nuke25, gets 25% off the first monthly payment at Nuke the House. We've got 25 hours of live betting content every week. We're going to be live for every NFL game of the year. It might put me in the ground, but we're going to be live for every NFL game this year. We got daily picks. We have articles. We're going to have a complete course on learning how to live bet by sport. And then because I worked with Hoop and I love how the DFS playbook, the amount of data that you get in the DFS space is great. So I wanted to try to bring that over to what we do. So we created these game plan betting guides for every NFL game with in-game player prop targets, pre-game targets, derivatives, everything that I can try to think of that we can offer, every NASCAR Cup race, every MMA card, and every PGA tournament. So for the amount of hours of content that you guys get and how profitable we are, I think it's a pretty good deal.
Yep. I mean, it's not people don't even believe it when you say how much you're up. I mean, 343 units last year, 290 plus. And here's the most important thing. You don't got to watch these shows. Like, people don't have 7 hours to watch shows. We send real-time in-game betting notifications right to your phone. So if you're sitting around, you'll get the game, you'll get the number, you'll get the book. Very simple. Just have your phone on, get into our Discord, Nuke 25% off first payment. Okay, 2 more games to go here, Hoop, and hit the like button if you get a chance. Commanders at Bucks, not a great total in this game. 42.5 minus 10 to both sides. Washington getting a field goal on the hook. 3.5 on the road with a rookie quarterback and Daniels. So I want to hear from your thoughts on this one, because Jaden Daniels is the guy that likes to run. We have seen rookie quarterbacks put up some big numbers with their legs. So anything in this game?
Fantasy side?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's not a great total, but I think this is definitely more appealing from the fantasy perspective than we've seen in the last couple games. I mean, a lot of times in DFS, you want to target like the big totals, but for various reasons, you can also take a look at some of these games with lower-ish totals, and this is one of them for a couple of reasons. The first thing is we have 2 cheap quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels, only $5,700. He can pay that off on the ground. I mean, he can easily pay that off on the ground. He looked pretty good. He's probably one of the better value plays on the slate. If you're playing cash games this week, I think it's very viable to just go with him at $5,700. I think he has a very nice floor this week. Baker Mayfield, $5,600. Showed the ability to have big games. And it's nice with him because, again, you're in this situation where you know who you're pairing with. If you're playing Baker Mayfield, you have 2 options, Godwin, Evans. Like, you're going to those guys. And you can also play, Cade Otton at $3,800, cheap tight end. So it's very easy to stack him. You know where you're going. And you could also throw Rachaad White in that mix as well, because he had good corollary games with Baker Mayfield last season. So Baker, Rachaad White, Evans, Godwin, Otton, I think all in play this week. If you're playing multiple teams, you can get the entire offense in, and no one really breaks the bank. I mean, the only big price tag I'd say would be Mike Evans at $7,300, but that's not all that crazy. Rachaad White's still value price tag $63. So very appealing offense. And then on the Washington side, more condensed, fewer options that I'd want to go with. But it's Jaden Daniels and it's Terry McLaurin, like those 2. And it's an easy, simple stack. There's nothing else you really have to mix in. For me, it's just literally those 2 if you're looking to stack up Washington. It's Daniels to McLaurin. Daniels, I think, is a strong cash game option as well. So it's a very appealing game, despite the lowish total, very appealing game from a fantasy perspective.
All right, Kegger, let's do it. Washington, Tampa Bay, a lot of offensive weapons in this game. You want to attack this game anyway besides for player props?
Well, I do think that Mike Evans is going to nuke this game, because Washington grades out to be the second to last secondary in the National Football League. And dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm praying there is no rain. This total has dropped another 2 points. It's down to 42.5. I would have smashed over 44.5 had I known that we were not going to be impacted by weather. But this looks like one of 2 games this week where we could get screwed by the rain. If it doesn't happen, I will 100% be on the over. And I will probably be on Mike Evans because I really do think he will get whatever he wants over the top on Sunday. We have the game graded out at 3. So just slightly over 3, actually, like 3.1. So at 3.5, it's a pass. But yeah, if the rain isn't an issue, I'm on the over, and I'll be attacking Mike Evans for sure.
All right, we got one more game. Hey, want to remind everybody, Nuke the House. We got a live show tonight, 8:15 Eastern time. We'll kick it off with the Ravens at the Chiefs. We'll be live betting. If you get a chance to sign up beforehand, get into our Discord so you can get the live betting notifications. You watch the game, sit at home. We'll tell you what we're betting, or you can just watch the show, and you can go that way as well. We'll be live tonight, Friday night, for the full slate on Sunday, Sunday night, and Monday night as well. So any NFL game, we're going to be on the air. Last game to get to, Hoop. We're going to talk Cowboys and Browns. And we know the Browns defense, boy, it's a really good defense. We've got the Cowboys. Dak Prescott led the NFL on passing touchdowns last year at 36. God, that can't be right? Only 36 touchdowns, got the passing title? I don't know about that. Dallas getting 2.5 on the road. 41 is the total. Dallas plus 114 on the road. Browns money lines minus 35. Any Dallas with them taking on the Browns? Like, is CeeDee Lamb, because they don't have a running game?
Yeah. So, like, no team or player, I think, made more money for me last year than Dak Prescott. You play fantasy, you know, everyone was playing Tony Pollard all season. What did Tony Pollard do? He sucked basically all year long.
Yeah.
He was so bad. I mean, so bad. But, you know, we got on Dak to CeeDee Lamb in a lot of those situations where Pollard was looking to be popular, and it paid dividends. I will say this is not one of the spots that I'm looking to do that. Definitely not one of the spots. This is very difficult spot, I think, for Dallas. Maybe one of the worst to open up a season in Cleveland. Very good defense. CeeDee Lamb, had the holdout, so didn't get the full camp. It looks like a really bad spot for Dallas, and one I'll likely avoid outside of CeeDee Lamb standalone play. Like, CeeDee Lamb can clearly get there on his own, but I don't think I'm going to be looking to go Dak to CeeDee. It's going to be just CeeDee Lamb on the Dallas side. Maybe some Ferguson, like at tight end. Although I don't love the price tag at $5,200, probably just prefer to go to little cheaper. But on the Dallas side, it's CeeDee Lamb as a standalone play, and I'll mostly be on teams where I have a lot of salary to spend. If I'm doing like a cheaper stack, and then I have salary to spend, I can potentially go to some CeeDee Lamb. A lot of people are going to go to Tyreek Hill if they have money to spend at wide receiver. I don't mind mixing in CeeDee Lamb over him on some teams. Cleveland side, Deshaun Watson's cheap at $6K. I think he's in play, looking to be very low owned, under $5K. The only guy I really have interest in pairing him with would be Amari Cooper. You're getting a very low owned stack. I mean, these guys are looking both to be like under 3% owned. So you can get, Watson to Amari Cooper, a total ownership of maybe like 4% or something, which is very, very low. Can mix in some David Njoku, but this is more like sprinkle type plays, not like priority plays for me. So I'm not messing with that Dallas backfield. I'll make that very, very clear. Rico's cheap at 4,600, but man, they're going to be mixing Zeke in there. So I don't know. It's a tough read. CeeDee Lamb, favorite play on the Dallas side. Don't love it. And then, maybe some Watson to Amari Cooper, and that's really about it.
All right, Kegger, last one for us.
I'm interested to ask you, man. CeeDee Lamb goes down, season-ending injury. Are they a bottom 5 offense?
It's got to be bad, man.
They have got to be bad. like I was thinking about taking the shot and betting an alternative season win total under like 6 or 7, because I don't know how they get out of their own way if that kid is not on the field doing ridiculous things. It's the worst offensive line Dak Prescott's ever had since he's been there, right? Like, we've got the line at the Browns -2. But even still, like, I still lean towards the Browns because I'll tell you right now, if Joe Flacco was playing in this game, I would have bet the Browns. Yeah. I just don't know what Watson is right now. You know,
it seems like one of the worst. Like I would. This seems like one of the worst spots for Dallas to open up, and I agree. Like, I like the Brown side from a bet. Like, I could see that. I could see them making Dallas look really bad to open up the season. Like, I would not be surprised at all. It's just everything just looks to be against the Cowboys here. You have the CeeDee Lamb situation, the uncertainty at running back. You know, Cleveland's defense is good. It's always a tough place to play. Like, to me, everything just points towards Cleveland here from a betting perspective.
I'm with you, man. I couldn't agree more. If the Eagles don't win the NFC East, I'll fall off my chair because it's not Dallas this year. I'll tell you that. From a total side, no real opinion. I would probably lean under just because of how good that Browns defense is, but I'll probably pass. I might bet the Browns, though. I have to think about it.
Yeah, I like it.
We got a lot of bets on our spreadsheet right now. So it's a great time to sign up and Nuke the house. Nuke 25% off your first payment of a monthly plan. I know ShipIt has a pretty good deal with us as well. So you might want to check that out. Lisa Ann has a deal with us. So you'll check that out on our Twitter page, on our X page. But Hoop, it's really good. Yeah. Hooking up with you again, man. It's been a long time, and
sure.
We haven't talked too much since we stopped working together, but it's good to work with you again, my friend.
Two guys that I absolutely loved working with in the past. I'm super excited, happy for you guys, and I think you're doing it the right way, honestly. Like, we've talked over the summer a couple times, and I love what you guys are doing. You know, not just about here's the picks, here's the plays. You're making people better sports bettors themselves and understanding the process, the live betting angle of it. That's what it's all about. I mean, that's really what it's all about in both these industries, on the DFS side and the sports betting side. It's giving people informed, giving them information so that they can understand the process and become better, whatever it is, DFS or the sports betting side of things. So love what you guys are doing, rooting for you guys for sure, and excited to be aligned with you guys moving forward.
Appreciate that, Coop.
Yep.
Thanks, Hoop. One more time, real time, in-game betting notifications. You don't got to watch our shows if you don't have time. All you got to do is have a phone by you. You'll get the notifications. Keg will tell you what he's betting. He'll give you the team. He'll give you the book. He'll give you the line. We got a live show coming up tonight at 8:15 on our YouTube page, Nuke the House YouTube page. So make sure you get to that and turn on your notifications. Hey, man, it's great working with the Hoop. Hang on just for 1 second after we get off the air. I want to talk to you one more time. Kegger, great work, my friend. Good job on 2 hours of sleep. He's upset at me.
I'm not upset at you.
He's upset at me because last night I had to go console my fiance, and he's like, I was up till 4 a.m.
Anyway, last time I talked to you, got a new name and a fiance. We have some catching up to do.
We do have some catching up to do. All right, put the graphic up there, Kegger. Let's get out of here.